Hello, hello. Hi, hi. How you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the... Whoa. Wait, how am I not stuck anymore? Did something update? I thought I always get stuck for a bit, but then I just... Anyway. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. It's been a while. I am finally moving in this 3D plane. Wow. I can move in 3D. I can maybe poke this... No, maybe I cannot poke... Can I poke your screen? No, I cannot. I'm gonna poke your screen. What if I break the fourth wall? You don't know that's gonna happen. Anyways, hope you are doing good. Hi Chip, hi Swift, hi Narix, and hi Jameson. I've been squeezed among it. And hi Akko, and hello Lupo. Hello, welcome. Hope you are doing good. Hope you are having a nice Wednesday. Is it possible to have a nice Wednesday? I guess so. Gosh, I honestly, if it wasn't for Pokemon TCG on the Game Boy Color, then I feel like I would have a very painful day. So I kind of want to continue playing it because I've been a little bit obsessed with it. I already got 2 medals, so I'll show you guys what I got. Let me open up the game first. I have Switch on that screen, and then my OBS and everything is on here. So it feels kind of weird now. I haven't done this in a while, right? Okay, so, oh, I found it. Yeah, this one. I have the Pokemon TCG. Wow! Limited edition Pokemon card. Limited edition Pokemon card inside. Well, I don't know what that means, but I'm just gonna play that one. Let me close this one. It feels weird seeing an open streaming at this time of day. I know, right? I rarely do this, but I kind of want to make this like a occasional thing. Well, maybe not occasional, but a more often than never, right? Because it is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like I want to do it, and I started doing it this year. So yeah, let's play this one. Oh my god, it's so good. Best game.
Good girl, Tyra. Proud of you.
I didn't do much though, but thank you, Evie. Hell yeah, my name is Pui. Let's continue from diary. I've been playing for 4 hours, holy shit. Work is pain, but I feel good about playing this game anyway. So, where was I? No, I'm not looking for a duel. Let's see. No. This is my deck. So I actually played this when I was a kid, but I have no idea what I was playing. So I don't know, right? Oh, come on. Okay, thank you, Switch. Don't show me that. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. And I played this when I was a kid. I have no idea what I was doing. Mega book. Wow. And now I know what I'm doing, so this is kind of fun now. I already have the deck. I have fire and grass deck. I should drink. You're spoiling the bucket. I have my Nidoqueen and Charizard. Magmar, Rapidash. Rapidash is kinda OP in this game, which is kinda funny. No water deck though, but I kinda want to put Magikarp and Gyarados in. Like, Gyarados looks pretty cool, look at this. Gyarados, Magikarp look like this. Magikarp has to tackle and flail? Times the number of damage counters on Magikarp? Oh, so it's like 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. Oh, okay, it's not that. It's alright. Lightning, I don't like it. No fighting for me. Sandshrew, Sandslash is kinda cute. This game is like, if you want to like go for early kills, go for Machop. 1 energy, 5 health, 20 damage. I don't really like Psychic type here. And then you have the Colorless type, which is normal type here. You have like a bunch of different Jigglypuffs here. I don't know why there's so many different kinds of cards, but it's there. Look at 3 different kinds of Jigglypuff. Wow. And then 2 different versions of Meowth. This one is pretty cute. And then the cursed one. It's so cool. Like, I love like trading card games like this. Oh yeah, I also played the phone version of Pokemon trading card game. Like, the new one on the phone. Pokemon TCG Pocket, I think that's what they're called. I remember Professor Oak allows you to draw 2 more cards. This one, discarding your hand and draw 7 cards is crazy. And then you have Imposter Professor Oak, which lets your opponent does this. It's like, ah. I didn't use that one though. And then Bill instead is to draw 2 cards now. But you can play as many trainer cards as you can, as you want in the turn, as long as you have them. And then you have energy removal. Oh my god. I have 1 switch, 1 computer search. Computer search is fine actually, I feel like. Maintenance. Oh no, that's like fine-tuned. I don't need that. And Gambler is funny. You shuffle your entire hand. Flip a coin if it heads. If it's a head, you draw 8 cards. If it's tail, you draw 1 card. It's like, wow. Truly a gambler, but I'm not gonna do that. And then of course energy cards. I feel like the energy cards might be a little bit too much, but I don't know what else to put in, so it's fine. Maybe I can put in more colorless energy cards, yes. Like this one, then remove these. Yeah, that looks good. There. Alright, let's continue to find it. I think I already fight this guy. I don't remember actually, have I? Have I fight you? You know what? I'm just gonna fight them anyway. Always want to be a hard rocker. Rock Pokemon. Doesn't the name rock? Won't you do against my rock Pokemon deck? Which I do Andrew, yeah. And then the nice thing about this game is that you can just get booster packs by winning duels, which is, it can be hard. This is very, very luck dependent. Thanks, we'll rock this match with 4 prizes. I'm gonna get rocked. Wow. Oh, and the music is absolute top tier, by the way. Holy shit. The music is so good. Oh my god, it's all energy cards. Do I have that many energy cards? I don't think so. So this TCG is like different from the rule set now. I mean, obviously, updates and stuff. But I still love this version. It could be so broken. Like one thing is that if, let's say, if you deal 20 damage against someone that's like weak against my element, the rules now says it will deal 20 extra damage. That's it, right? This one literally deals double damage. So it's like, huh? actually very fucking scary, but also very funny. I think this is good. I'm Cowboy yippin'. I'm yippin' now. Night Peter, Night Dragon, Top Dragon doing it. Alright. It's okay. Rhyhorn first? Oh no. What did I do? Oh boy, here we go. Ooh, nice. Well, I mean, I cannot do much, but what do you have? Horn attack 30? So we already seen Leer. Horn attack just straight up plus 30. And I'm pretty sure... Yeah, they're playing Rhyhorn deck. Rhyhorn deck is so scary though. But they do require a lot of time to build, so... That's why they have Leer. Oh, nice. We can heal with potion once. We have Nidorina, but we don't have grass energy. Yeah, we need grass energy here. Give me a second. I wonder why is it like stuttering? Well, it's not stuttering, it's more like... let me enable buffering, so it should do. Don't crash. Okay, we're good. There. It shouldn't stutter too much now. Weed energy? Yeah. There's no weed energy. I mean, I couldn't attack. Yeah. So, I guess we just end the turn. Yeah. Already? Oh, that's why. They literally got an amazing draw. On attack and ram. They cannot do ram, so... Rhyhorn does 20 damage to itself. Has any bench Pokemon? He or she chooses one of them and switches it with the defending Pokemon. Do the damage before switching the Pokemon. Okay, so... They can never do ram because they would need all fighting energy. Yeah. So... What I can do... This is so stupid I'm doing it. Nidorina requires 3, I think. Oh, she has a supersonic. Because the current Nidoran only has 3 swipes, which is not that good. I can tank for 1 more turn, and I will need to like attach as much energy as possible to a Nidoran. Hi Nina. Welcome. I hope Nina is doing good. Took my cat to the vet for a checkup. Oh, everything was good? Oh, nice. And so precious. I'm glad the kitty is doing good. I'll just Ember, I'm not gonna survive this. I'll try to do as much damage as possible. I might be able to turn this around. Here, let's change the plan. We're using Magma. I don't think I'm gonna keep this Charmander alive. It's tough. Alright, let's just scratch it. 40 damage, good enough. Good job, Charmander, good job. They literally got a god draw here. Got 1 fighting energy card, 1 Rhydon, 1 double colors energy card. Dang. Alright, here we go, Magma. I need luck to be on my side here. In the meantime, I can just build Nidoran for now. Alright, here we go. Please work. Pray to the Pokemon. Pray to the dragon. Pray to all the dragon possible. They're gonna miss it, they're gonna miss it. They're not gonna hit. It's not gonna hit. Tail! God fucking damn it. This game, I cannot. There's no luck on my side, always. It's so painful. Okay. Not much I can do here. The sound effect is so cute too. Game Boy Color. This game is so amazing. Come on. This, I swear, I can never get them to miss a fucking coin flip. It will always be my disadvantage and their advantage. This game is bullshit. I mean, I can't simply attack on the hammer and beat them with it. I want to beat this guy. Like, the coin flip luck is insane. What can I say? Alright, Magma, you did good. Not much I can do now. Smoke screen. At least make it work once, okay? Like, that's all I ask. And then I can make Magma retreat. Alright, come the fuck on just one time is all I ask, alright? Just one time. Ooh, cool. Marowak, okay. Come on. Oh my god, no way. It's so useless though. Alright, let's see. I will give... This is so funny, but I'm gonna give Nidorina this. If I use Professor Oak and I happen to get my Nidoqueen, I can win. So here we go. Refresh, discard all my cards, and redraw 7 cards. Do I need to flip the table for you? Oh please, that would be nice. flip it at Andrew. Like you're gonna aim for him. Plus power. Alright, we still have a chance. Come on. God damn it. No. Why? Why? Oh, I mean, I have plus power. Ah, crap. I don't trust in the coin flip here, because Nidorina's attack double kick. Flip 2 coins, this attack does 30 damage times the number of heads. If I do 2 tails, they would do 0 damage, literally, so... I don't know if I want that. I'm a little bit scared. Ah, fuck it. Alright, here we go. Alright, Nidorina. I believe in you. Girl power. Kick him. Kick him. Just need one. Just need one. Just need one. Just need one. Just one. There's no fucking way. Oh, I hate this game. Nah, I love this game though. Holy shit. Well, we got first kill. We got Charmander. I mean, Charmander is literally not that useful right now currently, I feel like. But it's fine. Oh, Marowak can kill! It's the same as double kick. I'm dead. I told this game! They never miss once! Not once! What the fuck? Not once! Rotan! Hiya! And I got another chameleon. Fine, we built chameleon. $60 damage. Literally, plus power is not gonna work here. I can only... I didn't get Nidoqueen, oh my god. What's your weakness? Weakness is grass. Wait. So if I kick him once, I just need one head. One head. Just one head. Give me one. You gave them 2. You gave them 4 or 5 actually. Okay, I still have one more. I swear to God, this game, I'm gonna flip everything. God damn it. Watch them do 2 heads again. It's so rigged, it's so rigged. Oh my god, it's rigged beyond belief, I swear. Oh my god, of course. Is it gonna be the same? Uh-huh. Nah, I think this is gonna... It's already predetermined? No way! Jesus fucking Christ, I think this is predetermined. I just need one, I couldn't. They haven't missed once, by the way. They haven't missed once. Not once have they missed it. Alright. What the... This game funny! This game... I wasn't this bad with my luck this morning, what the heck? The fuck happened? Oh, I could play Ponyta, I forgot. I already have Charmander 1 energy, right? Yeah, I already beat Charmander. Alright, I have to now. Charmander could kill in 1 turn. I have 3 more. Okay, they can have this one. Haven't missed once is insane. As if it matters. Oh, it actually matters. Oh my god. Feel my pain, bitch. Feel my pain. Oh. Wait, that's huge. 2 energy on Rhyhorn. Marowak needs 2. I'm pretty sure they have 1 extra, but if I can distract them, I'm doing it. Get fucked. Wait, no. Chameleon... 2 fire 1, okay. So 2 fire 1... Boom. That should kill. Because I have plus power and Chameleon does 50 damage with the flamethrower. So yeah, that kills. Magmar is just here being like, oh yep, I'm here. I'm just here. Alright, we good. Imagine if they do another 2-tail. That's not gonna be good for me. Yeah, there we go, okay. You just had to do it though. It's either one or the other, huh? Oh, they have 1 more only. Shit. I cannot lose any more. I cannot lose any more Pokemon here. Charizard is not gonna help you, I think. But let's have another fire energy for you. I'm already in like balls deep with Chameleon here, so let's do it. Let's go. They have a chance. I swear. No, they never fail. They never fail. I literally lost to being too unlucky. What is this? I told you. This is so luck dependent. No way. I cannot do anything. God damn it. Yeah, I gotta do a horn attack. They die first, but I cannot just do this. I will have to switch. I will have to switch in between. Okay. I might be able to win this if they don't evolve right on. I mean, even if they evolve to Rhydon, they can still do only... Let me check the energy form, energy card. I might win this actually. 110 damage. 110 damage. 2, I win. I literally won. Wait, no, unless they have a double colors energy on Ponyta, then I lost. This is a small issue? Like a small bet? Chances are low though, that's gonna happen, right? Right? Unless they use Onyx and then they do twice damage to me, but literally 50-50 kills, so who knows, I might be able to get a Charizard. So that's cute. I saw if I hit double colors energy, then well, what can I do? okay, we're safe, we're safe. Jinx. They don't have energy. Their card is too unfocused. Let's go, we won. We brought this back. Even if I'm being super duper unlucky, we win with skill. Alright, we win with skill. There you go, Nidoran. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'll need to use this. Fire this stone up. Pokemon Trader. Trade one of the basic Pokemon or evolution cards in your hand for one of the basic Pokemon evolution cards from your deck. Show both cards to your opponent, shuffle your deck afterwards. Oh, wait, this is really good, no? Holy shit, this is the best card ever. I want this. Nah, did they just do that? Can they do? Okay, they cannot. Okay. Defender? Of course you use Defender. Yeah, do what you can here. Come on. Stall it. Stall. Oh yeah? You want... Which of you have energy, huh? I'm doing this on... Okay, they literally have no energy. The skill of having luck. I literally... Well, I won... I got one head flip out of the entire coin flip. They got 2 tail flip out of the entire coin flip, so I would say I was pretty unlucky. I was so unlucky, no. Alright, slashing up. Because Defender I'm not gonna kill. Haha! I'm gonna stall until I got Charizard. I'm gonna grief. I'm gonna BM this guy. I'm gonna BM this guy. It's crazy. Okay, what's your weakness? Okay, you know what? Get back here. Get back here, alright? Get back here. Let Nidoran do the talking, alright? Nidoran's gonna talk to this guy real quick. Watch this. Ooh, I need one more. I won. Oh, another energy removal here? Wow, should have picked that one first. I'm too good. I won even though I lose almost all of my coin flip. Whoa, I lost. A rockin' guy like me can lose. Yeah, but you did. Oh yeah, look at the art of this thing. It's so adorable. Come on. What do we have? Booster pack? Prof Oak. Charmander. Look at the art. It's so cute. On the Game Boy Color, it's so impressive as well. Look at these pixel art. Oh my god. This is what we have back then. It's so fucking amazing. I mean, sure, the art now is also really good, but also with the inclusion of AI, it's just depressing. Scyther? Oh my god, that's a card I never got before. During next turn, Scyther's slash attack base damage is doubled. Oh shit. That's literally useless. What's the point of doubling the base damage of slash when it's also the same as doing slash 2 times? Radicate. Oh, another magic card. And a Pokeball. Flip a coin. If heads, you may search your deck for any basic Pokemon or evolution card. Or evolution card? Show the card to your opponent, then put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Yo, wait, this is so good though. I need that. Alright, time to tune the deck a little bit. It's here. Pokemon breeder? Breed? I want... Imagine if Dragon breeds me though. Huh? Wait, too early? Matching basic Pokemon, you can only play this card when you would be allowed to evolve that Pokemon anyway. Don't know what that means. Pokeball. Oh yeah, I mean, computer search is kind of the same, but computer search requires me to discard 2 cards on my hand. Item finder is essentially the same, but on the discard pile. 1 less energy, maybe? Nah. Here we go. I played for 5 hours, holy shit. Alright, let's fight the next one. I'm carving a statue of a Pokemon out of this rock. What? You want to duel? Alright, you want to duel now? Ryan? Sure. Let's make it a quick single match with... Oh, 3! Okay, 3 prizes. Let's start. Excavation deck. Ooh, look at this guy. 3 prizes. Okay. It's gonna be a short one. Nidoran, Magma. Hard to say. No evolution cards here. I can play with Magma, I just stall. Magma is really good. It's a really good starting Pokemon. There we go. Oh, no way. I play first. Oh my god. Supersonic hide in channel. Prevent all damage done to the shelter during your opponent's next turn. Oh. Oh, interesting. That's a very defensive card, man. This game is so good, holy shit. The music though, oh my god. Honk? Yep. Oh my god, yep. Hi Zoe. Welcome. It's been a while. I haven't moved in my 3D plane in a long time. Weird. Hope Zoe is doing good. God, they never fail. They never fail. Please fail. This, I swear, this game is so rigged beyond belief. This game is so rigged. Used to play a lot years ago. I played it when I was a kid, like a kid. But then I have no idea what I was doing, so eventually I just kind of dropped it. But now that I know what I'm doing, this game is fun as hell. Does it prevent being poisoned? Any other effect of attack still happen? Okay. Okay, you're gonna get poisoned now. Here we go. Oh my god, I did it! You get poisoned though, you're dead. You're dead. Unless you have a full heal. Oh no. Mysterious fossil? Holy shit. Haha, as if this is gonna help. Literally doesn't matter. Learn the basic of TCG thanks to this game. Ooh, I learned the basic of TCG or Pokemon TCG in the phone game, the recent one. Bye. Nice. Mysterious fossil. I drew potion. Do they know if I won? Poor guy. They didn't draw any other Pokemon. Well, let's spray salt to wound, why not? Alright. I need more damage. Oh hell yeah. I need the plus power. Oh my god, and you're poisoned. The fossil is poisoned. There was no effect from poison. No Pokemon in Ryan's play area. We won. Poor guy. They didn't draw any like other Pokemon cards. Whoa! I lost. Here, take this. Oh! I need this booster pack. Look at this Charizard. Oh my god. Jolteon, Super Potion, Kakuna, Jinx. What's this? Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and switch it with his or her active Pokemon. I also love how they use his or her back then. They don't use they. So respectful, I feel like. This is funny though. Gust of Wind. Machamp, Kingler, Hunter, Ivysaur, PG, another Gust of Wind. Cubone looks so cute here, holy shit. I always love Cubone so much. Maybe that's how I love. That's when I love skullhead creatures because of Cubone. I mean, sure, Cubone is not necessarily a skullhead creature. It's just a skull from. This is very fucked up, but the lore says it's from Cubone's parent, I think. What's going on? Must be my unlucky day. I'm sorry, but that was them being very unlucky there. Alright, this must be the gym leader. I am Jin, the master of Rock Club. Rock is good. Hey, can I join the Rock Club? Can I join the Rock Club? I think Rock is good too. Very good crunch. I own some Pokemon cards. Do you want to trade? I actually don't have any Pokemon cards here. Yeah, I don't think I have any. Well, I can steal. Sure, if named with the School of Rock. But why? Also, hi Coffee Mensa. Welcome. Is a rock good, Pui? I don't know why I named the character Pui. I was so upset with work and then I just named my character Pui. Rock is hard and strong, yeah. It doesn't crumble under pressure. After you duel me, you'll know I'm right. Come. Look. God damn it, I've been in a certain cage for so long. my brain is so dirty, oh my god. Alright, here we go. Japanese Snom, oh my god. Like, Japanese worded cards? Our duel will be played with 6 prizes. You won't get the rock medal unless you defeat me. That is just Professor Oak. That is actually just Professor Oak. Oh my god. Rock Crusher deck. Hi, Professor Oak. Who do we have? Charmander? Chameleon? Ooh, wait. And a computer search? Ooh, okay. Kind of a nice draw. And then 6 prizes. Oh. Johnny! Oh my god. Oh my god, there's 2 musics going on. Hello. Welcome everyone. I can make this like... I forgot I can just do that. Welcome. Hope you are doing good. Oh my god, shiny dragon. Welcome. Everyone from the raid. Wait. I'm Tiara. I'm a kobold. I play a bunch of games. I love fighting games. I love dragons to bits. I love dragon bits and I do art sometimes. Welcome. Hope you are doing good. I actually kind of wanted to do art just now, but things happened. And now I'm playing card games instead. Wow. Hope Johnny's doing good. And everyone from the raid as well. Welcome. Aha, I forgot to do this actually. Wowee. Titan Quest. I think I saw you play Titan Quest a little bit. That looks like Path of Exile, but it's Titan Quest? I don't know, but whenever I see you play Path of Exile, I was like, I need that game. I can play as a big dragon. Doing well? Heck yeah, good to know, good to know. Always good to hear dragon doing well. I like dragons. You know, I feel like sometimes I'm so fucking weird, but it's okay. I don't know if it's okay, but... It's just... Look, me being a kobold is because I love dragons too much. That's why. Anyway, I'm playing this Game Boy Color version of the Pokemon TCG. And I'm fighting the Master of Rock. Oh! Who literally looks like Professor Oak. And there's Professor Oak. This is the shit draw. I don't need... Okay, maybe I do need Professor Oak. Okay, it's fine. Maybe that's good. We're all weird. In a way, right? In a way. Honestly, I used to think being weird is bad. But that's me being in middle school, right? And then after going through university and then attending a few furry conventions in Malaysia, and then I was like, okay, maybe being weird is bad. But I don't care. I added another sentence towards that one. It's like, oh yeah, I don't care. Why I don't being weird? There's nothing wrong being weird, no. As long as you're happy, yeah. As long as I'm happy, honestly, like, so long as we are not harming anyone, it's all good, no. All right, first scratch. Wabam. Huh. Fair enough. Oh my god, no way, I'm the lucky one here? Literally 3 coin flips to my advantage? Wow. Funny haha double Professor Oak draw. What'd I do? I mean, Professor Oak is like, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. What's the point if there's two Professor Oak in one hand? Trying to see how vanilla this LTCG version is compared to the current version? Yeah. This one is still fun as hell, I'm not gonna lie. Gonna grab some lunch, I'll be lurking. Of course! Have a good lunch, Johnny. Thanks for the lurk. Thank you, Shiny Dragon. I would throw a giant plushie at you for a gift, but I couldn't. Or maybe I can just like, hiya. 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 Or like, maybe I'm a kobo, but it's like, yeah. Yeah. Have good lunch. Oh. Long. Gosh, I haven't heard that in so long. Get it? Long? Hi, Ion. Welcome. Dag long? Yeah, dag long. Have I put in a energy card already? I did, okay. So we have two... Oh my god, we have two Professor Oak. It's okay, I also have 3 energy removal card in my deck. Who knows, I might be able to draw it. Diglett? Oh, you're using Leer to stall, okay. Fair enough. They're not trying to use Horn Attack to win. So they are trying to build Diglett? I haven't seen what Doctrio can do. Oh, I don't have any other Pokemon. This is kinda spicy. I couldn't attack. So next turn, one more energy, evolve, and then Computer Search. Throw away Professor Oak and switch, and then use Professor Oak. That's literally perfect. Okay. Alright, here we go. Thank you. I got Nidoqueen. Well, unfortunate. Okay, and then Chameleon, boom. And then we're gonna use Computer Search. Search for... What did I search for actually? I mean, I can't use Nidoqueen here. Do I just straight up evolve into Charizard immediately? Would be kinda spicy though, but...
Hello, and welcome.
Wait. Daikichi the Rack, hi! Thank you. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Oh my god, the second last card, Charizard? That's that's so mean. I'm not too sure if I want Charizard early on. Wait, if I got Charizard, I cannot use... Yeah, if I got Charizard, I cannot use the Professor Oak anymore. Unless I do it next turn, that does mean I cannot attack anymore. I mean, they're not gonna attack. Hello. Creature. Ooh, that's a really nice haircut emote. Holy shit. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm getting it. Oh, I can attack now. We attack now and then see what we get next draw. Yeah. If I get an energy card next draw, then it's good. Hello. Oh, on another Rhyhorn. Whoa. Dassy! Dassy! I haven't stopped by Dazzy stream in a long time though. Oops. Dazzy raid. Uh-oh. T-Jara. Hi. A T-Jara. Ooh. Bring on the Huggies Nuggies, stand on Nuggies. Oh, your mac and cheese does not belong to us. Okay, at least I get Huggies Nuggies and Dino Nuggies. That's good. Hi, Dazzy. Oh my god. I think I saw a stream for a little bit. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Romeo is a Batman. Ooh. I haven't heard of the game before. Mom hugs for the couple. Oh my god. I can't escape. I really. Alright. Because of Twitch, I have to wait for the shoutout thing, but thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everyone. Wow. Hope you're doing good. It's actually kind of rare for me to stream at this time, so I just kind of wanted to stream because today's work has been shit, so that's why I'm here. But thank you. Also, welcome in everyone for the raid from both Dazzy and Bailey. I'm Theora. I'm a kobold. I play a bunch of games. I love fighting games. I love dragon bits. I love dragon bits, and I do art sometimes. Welcome. It's all good. How Pokemon is going spiffy? Oh, spiffy is good, right? Lovely Bean. Wow. I thought you're all the Lovely Bean. Pokemon's been going good, even though I was a little bit unlucky with the coin flip, but that's the nature of the game. All streams lead back to pick up a bowl. Am I gonna get picked up? Am I gonna get picked up? I want to. I love Uppies. Uppies are good. How stream has been going better for you? Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, not only that I get to play my now current obsession, I feel like. I don't know why. I saw on Switch. Why? I saw on Switch eStore, and I was like, ooh, Game Boy Color. And then I just like, let me check out what Game Boy Color has. And I saw this game, I was like, whoa. Can I get a Hydra maybe? Hydra Bolt? I'm so shaky. Wait, I need to be closer. Well, that's not Hydra. I don't know what that is. Gonna take a trash before I go to sleep, so I look when I do that. Have fun, Sugar Cube. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the lurk, Mama Bay. Also, I haven't done this yet, I think. Hi, Horse Dragon. Oh, Betty's driving trucks. I think I can do this now. Boom. Haha, look at that. I know how to do Twitch stuff, I think. Well, hope you are doing good. And if any of you raiders need any like post-stream care, get some rest, get some food, get some drink, you know, definitely go do them. Very important, right? Rest is good, hydration is even better, food is the best. So yeah. Hi, Kairos Kiria. Alright, so we don't need... See, the thing is, I don't need to use Professor Oak now. Because Charizard's attacks require me to discard 2 cards. 2 energy cards, so it has to be like a last resort or when I have overabundance of energy on Chameleon. So I'm gonna slash for now. Yeah, slash kills. And next one they're probably gonna bring out either... They're probably gonna bring out Rhyhorn again and try to stall me. Definitely not this one. Or maybe it is this one. I mean, this one is even more of a stall. Look at that health. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Just slash. I'll adapt to the situation, I think. I'll try anyway. First prize mine. Ooh. Onyx, yep, fair enough. Oh! Hey, they have the Professor Oak as well. They hit themselves. Geodude. On Geodude. Damn, you have Iasansu, which got you? You have 90 health. Magmar, okay. So we're gonna put them on the bench. I'm actually going to evolve now. Yeah, and then I'm going to use Professor Oak. Gemba, here we go. 7 cards. What do we have? Please give me more energy cards. Oh heck yeah. 2 potion? Oh my god. We can just straight up... Oh my god, we can sweep! I think we sweep! I think this is a sweep. This might be a sweep actually. That's 100 damage. Nice, okay. Unless I have energy removal, then that's gonna drop my momentum a lot. That's fine. So 70 damage still kills. That still kills. I'm just gonna put these in. Everyone go to the bench, it's fine. Papa Charizard here is doing all the work. Okay, they're gonna have Diglett, Rhyhorn, Geodude. So Geodude will not be able to do damage. You will not be able to do damage. You will be able to do some. My weakness is water, so I win. Well, let's not say I win this early, so let's just fight. Because I have to have one downturn. Ooh, okay. Underwater Charmander? Ooh. They don't want to attack? Why? Well, I couldn't attack. I have 3 potions, so good luck. Yeah, they didn't want to attack. I wonder why. Here, let me help you. Alright, here we go. Boom! This is so 800 damage on the Diglett. Oh my god. Chameleon? Okay. I mean, I'm literally using all the energy card on Charizard here. I broke their momentum so hard. I think they were trying to stall with... I think they're trying to stall with Rhyhorn. But then because I suddenly got a Charizard, because of my God starting draw. A once more. I'm getting so much praises, oh my god. Hey! Well, hopefully this is not weird to say, but welcome home. Two? We shouldn't have. I feel like they're borderline giving up. They're not even gonna do any attack anymore. Are you gonna at least leer? Oh, thank you. I thought you're giving up. Oh my god. I feel bad. I feel so bad. What the fuck? Holy shit. Oh my god. Holy, this is one brutal fight for him. Well, that's a sweep and a half. That's the fastest master fight of all time. Holy shit. And I took all the prizes. Wonderful. Your persistence that can even break rock has led you to defeat me. To be honest though, Gene, I don't know if it's persistence, more like fucking obliteration, I guess. You are worthy of receiving this rock medal. Ooh. Shiny. Shiny. Take this booster pack. But they literally has so much amazing art here, it's crazy. Oh! The best card? I would use Lapras now. Oh, I need more Lapras card. This is mystery deck, right? Yeah, I need more Lapras. Maybe I should get like 5 or 6 Laprases in the deck. Oh, Lapras? Oh my god. Imagine Lapras deck. I'm pretty sure there's no limit to how a single Pokemon can appear in a single deck, so yeah, it's gonna be broken, I feel like. Give me more Lapras. Dragonair! Wait, I have Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite now. Ooh, okay. What do you do? Slam Hyper Beam 20? Then flip 2 coins, this attack does 30 damage times the number of hands. Oh, okay. Oh. If the defending Pokemon has any energy cards attached to it, choose one of them and discard it. Oh my god. That is mean. That is so mean. Tidia? Trya? Trilera? The fuck I'm doing here? Yeah. I'm here to play cards. Hi Brian. Riddler. No, that's Retire. How do you read that? I really. She's playing. I'm playing cards. So I need mystery pack. I think there's one in Grass Club that gives mystery pack. This should be a PC. Card album. Copa playing? Copa. No, if that's my new name, I would not be able to speak anymore. Let's fucking go. Thank you, Brian. Only 38 months. Oh my god. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Oh, it is a mystery pack. Holy shit. I need to farm mystery pack. Let's fucking go. My favorite Kobo streamer, Arlete. Arlete. Oh wait, that's my name spelled backwards. I just realized. All right, whoever has mystery pack, I need to spam the shit out of them. I think one in Grass Club. Here. My favorite Kobo too. Oh. Thank you. 115 stream. Oh my god. Thank you. I'm gonna cry. You are so nice to me, especially after after a weird day like today. I think you give mystery pack. Yeah. Tira but evil. Arlit. I'm evil. I bite ankles. Oh my god. The music is such a bump. Really? Ooh, Pokeball? I might win this. If the Pokeball works, I win. Cowboy Sweet Bean? Oh heck yeah, I'm getting lucky now. Needle Land? Sure, I have one Needle Queen here. Come on! Hoot! God damn it. I wanted to build Needle Queen. I'll read about this. This is some of the most advanced music on GBC. Yeah, I feel like it too, right? Because in Game Boy Color, it's not supposed to be this advanced on music. Like, holy shit, there's so many sound bites going on. And then the sound bite is gone only when, like, when the shuffling card sound is playing. But other than that, yeah, like sometimes the sound bite gone when I do this, right? But if I don't do anything, the music is like top fucking tier. Holy shit, it's so good. I think this game is amazing. What can I say? Get up high, string shot, paralyze. Ooh, I mean, cannot do much here. I lost. They should lost too. Come on. Unfair. I call unfair. I can't remember the specifics, but if I remember correctly, it's because there's a limit to how many sound effects are used in the card game compared to action games. Oh, they had a composer who knew what the fuck they were doing. Yeah, that's like gonna be the most important thing. That makes so much sense. Build. Flash energy, fire energy, nice. We're on good pace. Am I using very short notes and layering them on top of each other, separated by barely a half step? Bye. That's a kill. Uh-oh, broken character. So they used a bunch of instruments with only the 4 instruments actually available to them. They fate having more sound. Revolutionary. The broken high 220 damage with 1 energy and then 50 health high. I die already, no how? Notice the bass and drum play primarily between breaks in the melody. You're right. When the drum plays, it is never overlapping with bass. Oh my god. I love to stay, but I'm at the doctor now and I forget my headphones, so I'll be back later. Love you, couple. Good luck with doctor visit, Brian. Thank you. I love you too, Brian. Thank you. Machop is literally broken. But I don't use Machop because I don't like Machop. It's not my kind of Pokemon. I like to use Pokemon that I love. Not as much as Smolita though, but it's like, I have to. Until I have like one abundance of cards that I can choose, then yeah. It's been nice knowing you, Bonita. Unfortunate. I need 2 heads. There's no way I'm gonna get that. My resistance is... My weakness is psychic? Okay, we good. Come on. Okay. 50-50. Okay. Nice. So lucky, so lucky. Oh, even more nice. Oh wait, that's psychic. Oh no. Nice too. Got potion. Destiny Bond. One more for Destiny Bond. Oh my god. Oddish 1, Charmander 1, 1 fire energy on you, 1 grass energy on you. I don't want that Destiny Bond actually. So... okay. Because if they use Destiny Bond, I lost. I think that's what they're trying to do here. Alright, if it's so much to ask, if it's not too much to ask, I need 3 heads. Okay? Okay? No fucking way, oh my god. Thank you, game. Actually, thank you, game. Wow, holy shit. Lightning energy to Charmander. Wait, how? So you have grass, you have fire, you have psychic, and then you have lightning? I think this might be a little bit too much for your deck. But what can I say? I'm not a deck builder. Well, not a professional one anyway. Oh my god, I'm actually getting so lucky here. I think they're gonna do Ember when I have 30 health left. They think they're not gonna notice. But thing is, I have potion. Good luck scratching me down to 30 health left. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've been so lucky so many turns. I'm not even gonna complain with this. It's not 0 damage. They're actually gonna keep scratching. Why not? Why not? Yeah, that's fair. 10 damage is better than nothing. I can jam this music for a long time. Crap. This is so good. I need 3 water. I live. Hi, Colin. Ooh. Whoa, okay. That's spicy. Oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh my god, they won it. Good play. Actually, good play. Holy shit! I cannot even I cannot even be mad about that. The combo is so petable. please pet the combo more. I like pet. Thank goodness I have one extra Charmander. They will not be able to kill in this one turn, so... I have one more, I win. This is a scratch off. Another Charmander. I win. Let's go, E.T. I think you have Mystery Booster Pack. Nice. Gradus, how? I don't know. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Mystery, please give me Dratini. Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite. Stingy. Pokemon Center? Persian? What? Really? Really? They don't give any cut? Whenever I lose, I get irritated me. What? Excuse me? I get irritated me? You get irritated you? Oh. Alright, I'm gonna bully Brittany for a bit. Sorry, Brittany. Oh, unless you win, then I hate you. Too bonita. Yeah, let's do bonita play. Nice. Tank it out. Ooh. Alright, we're gonna cook. We're cooking here. Bill. Bill's great. Rapidash? Oh my god. Sunspore, Poison Whip. Defending Pokemon on flip a coin, okay. Poison which just guarantees poison? Oh my god. Guaranteed poison is crazy. Nice, they died. Boom! Defender? Ooh. Minus 20. So at most I'm gonna do 40 here. Ah, they know how to count. Nice. It's fine. Then it gets gonna get swept by a horse. Alright. Weedle, Poison Sting, no, and Thunder Shout. Watch this. This is so mean. Alright. Ooh, nice. Agility is also such an OP move, not gonna lie. If a coin flip is successful, opponent cannot do anything to you. Poison, paralyzed, trying to do anything is useless. It's too strong. Two Pokeball? Dang. Potion? Nice. Nice. Yeah, agility is actually broken. Especially when this happens. Like, what can they do? Like, they cannot even chip me down. That's brutal. Defender? I think I win. Yeah, I might have won this one. How many energy do you have? 3? Okay, I still haven't won, I lied. Because I cannot get a single heckin' energy card now. I'm doing it anyway. Chari-chat. Chari-jo. Poor Brittany. They cannot do anything. They actually cannot do anything. I feel bad playing Agility sometimes, but they're just AI, or they're just like bots, computers. They have no feelings, it's fine. I, however, have feelings, so I wanna win. Give me all the booster pack, please. Nidoking, Rhydon, Tauros, Flareon, Orbish. Wow, are they not gonna give me any Dragonite cards? Or Dragon cards? It's Mew? Ugh. Mew is so adorable, look at that, holy shit. Does 10 damage times the number of energy cards attached. Ooh. Attached to the defending Pokemon. Wow, that's so mean. Evolution Beam. Choose an evolved Pokemon, your own or your opponent's. Return the highest stage evolution card on that Pokemon to its player's hand. Evolve Pokemon. Return the highest stage evolution card on that Pokemon. So Devolve is essentially. Holy shit. That is such a mean card. Alright, let's bully Brittany for a bit. One more time. Give me all your booster packs, please. Or unless it's that Brittany's booster pack doesn't give rare cards? Question mark? I mean, I literally got Mew, so I lied. And let's do Bonita play. Because I have no fire energy. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's good enough. Smash kick. Hiya. Broken Machop. 1 energy, 20 damage, 50 health. Still broken. Very strong early game card. Well, maybe not broken, but very, very strong. Really? How many defender do you have? That's not gonna do anything. Aww. They're gonna do Destiny Bond now. They have 2 energy cards on Ghastly. Extra Charmin. Ooh, okay. Bring out Ghastly, Destiny Bomb, Sleeping Gas. Oh no. Oh no, I'm meepy. I'm meepy. Wake up. Oi, lucky. Oh, no Destiny Bond for you. I am just gonna like destroy this Ghastly real quick. I'm scared. Get out of here. And Kobe is squishy? I think I'm squishy. That was fast. Nice. Do you make rubber ducky noises, Kobo, or what? I guess I squeak sometimes? Very rarely though. Oh, nice! Under the Lapras, finally! I love Lapras. Under the Lapras, please. Articuno! Wow. Freeze Dry Blizzard. Flip a coin if heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. Ooh, wow. Flip a coin if heads, this then has 10 damage each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. 10 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So spicy. Maybe I could play water cards now. Yeah. Alright, I think it's time to update my deck. Oh, Squeakable. I didn't do anything though. I'm getting free praises, oh my god. Alright, let's modify deck. Let's not play with the queen. I'm gonna try playing with Lapras and Magikarp. I have 2 of them, holy shit. And 1 Articuno. I think that might be a little bit too much Pokemon. Maybe that's good. No. I think we can try this. 1292. Yeah, looks good to me. When you meet into anything, you're just when you exist. Oh my god. just by existing. Ooh, is this a poison place? It's Specs. I get so involved in the Pokemon trading card game, I lose track of time. Isn't the Pokemon trading card game really fun? Can you say that? Like, can you say that in your video game? What if kids learn that? It's like, I don't know time anymore. I want to play Pokemon TCG until 24 hours, no eating. He lives in a house on the Cape of the Northeast. He's a very famous card collector. I hope to be like him someday. I don't know who that is. Please don't disturb me. I'm in the middle of a very important experiment. If I use Ditto now, this will happen. Oh. I don't understand science, but I understand Pokemon cards. I lost. Any new mail? Ooh. It's me, Dr. Mason. I have some information about Genie's deck. I should have read that earlier. He's the master of the Rock Club. His Rock Crusher deck is extremely strong against lightning Pokemon, but it's weak against grass. Suggest study the deck from Grass Metal Deck Machine. Is a booster pick for you? For free? Weeping Bell? Energy Retrieval? Couple? Oh my god, getting picked. Hi, Nexus. Hi, Draken. Oh my god. Draken. Thanks, Poppy. Try what other cards in your hand. Or the 2 basic energy cards for a discard pile. Ooh. 1 card for 2 basic cards from the discard pile? Yo. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Go to VG, the master of the Rock Club. Looks like you've won quite a few medals. Wanna try building your own deck? Start by changing some of the cards in your present deck. Keep changing a few cards at a time, and eventually you have your own unique deck. It's not that difficult. Give it a try. I've been doing that. Here's the deal. This time you get 2 booster packs. Wow, what a deal. Thanks. But you're only giving me the things, but I didn't do anything to you. Dactrio, Nidorino, Catapra, Bill! Oh my god, finally we got more Bill. Blood Toy? Ooh. That's pretty okay. Thanks for the booster pack. Also, I hope Nexus is doing good. Hope Dragon doing good. I like Dragon a lot. Alright, let's go smash. Let's go smash this medal. We research Pokemon cards here at the Science Club, especially Science Pokemon cards. Science Pokemon are exceedingly strong, which I should do against my Science Pokemon deck. Eric? Sure. We'll play with 4 prizes. Let's begin. Wow, look at this guy. I'm scared. Come on, why you look at me like that? Come on. What did I do to you? Why do you have to stare at me like that? Huh? I didn't do anything to you. Ooh, Lapulasu. Oh my god. It's the best card. What became Pokemon Trainer cool? Hi, Blizzy. I became a card trainer Pokemon thing. 4 prizes. Coin toss. Boom. Nice, lucky. Energy removal? You did. What do you have, Lapras? Water Gun Confused Rare. Okay, so you only deal 10 damage plus. 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each energy. Ooh, no use to pay for this attack energy cost. You cannot add more than 20, so 3 and 3 water energy is the most. That's really good though. Oh. Bring.
What year is it? Why are you streaming at this time?
It's the year. I don't know. I don't know how to count. Hi dear, how are you? I'm doing pretty okay. Had a bad day though, but not anymore. I feel so good. Why you streaming at this time? Spend so many hours in this game. Ooh, I started playing this like 2 days ago. No, yesterday. When I was at work, I was like, oh my god, this Pokemon Color. Sorry, there's this Game Boy Color on Switch. And then I was like, okay, let me see if there's any games that I want to try, because I never really played this game, like, if at all. I only played this when I was like a kid, so I don't know what it's called. But then when I saw the when I saw the cover of the game, it's like, oh my god, I think I know what the game is. And then I don't even know what I was doing when I was a kid playing this game, and now I'm playing it. It's so fun. I'm glad you're feeling that better. Thank you, Brin. It's such a solid cut game that holds up today. Right? Omega couple, Omega shiny dragon. Nightmares. Omega Tekken. Omega Tekken. Let's get to recover from a bad time. Yeah, then that's good. I'm glad too. I'm glad. I'm very glad actually. Squeak squeak. Right, I might be able to deal with this very easily here. Ataku water gun. Truly a water gun. I hope you are doing good, by the way. Woo. 30 damage? What? Okay, thank god. Holy. Fire damage. Build. Energy removal. Fire. Well, I mean, I had to do it. I mean, sure, they only have one, but still. I don't have water energy. Oh my god, I'm just gonna attack. Map black. Oh my god, Ra giúp. Tao hacking Ra giúp. Your econs? Schnook. Leak hole. If a dragon is gonna lick my entire body. And so small. Fire energy potion. Yeah, where my water energies here? Did they put another energy on spit poison? This is so stupid. Alright, there we go. I mean, it's a way to play, I guess. I love dragons and kobolds and all sorts of creatures. Honestly, me too. I love all sorts of creatures, but I just have like a special place for dragons and kobolds, or reptilians in general. Honestly, I love them. I guess I'll plus power this. So this kills. Yeah, what to kill? Coughing? Yo, Arbok? Holy shit, I always love Arbok. Terror Strike. Flip a coin if heads, and if your opponent has any bench Pokemon, he or she chooses one of them and switches it with the defending Pokemon. Do damage before switching the Pokemon. I literally have no Pokemon. What do I do? So just 10 damage? Okay. I'm not gonna bench Charmander then. But it's all fire. God damn it, it's all fire energy. It's all fire energy. Where's my water energy? I had 9, I think? Water. Okay, maybe 9 water energy card is not as much. Alright, maybe. God, but still... Fine, I'm benching Charmander. If they use Terra Strike, they're gonna do it again and again, I guess. Poison Fang is 3 energy, no poisoned. They only have 1, so okay, that's fine. You got Charmander as a prize card? Yeah. The prize card is like the rule of the game where whoever took all the prize card in the match wins. Nice. I got another Lapras. I need... Can I have a heckin' water energy card, please? Yeah. I mean, I could use Confused Ray or just deal more damage in general. I'm not gonna potion Lapras. Lapras is low health, it's fine. I mean, Lapras is pretty much just like the starting stall. Weedle. Uh oh. Select a Pokemon on the bench to switch with active Pokemon. There you go. Whoa. I have Gyarados. Where is my heckin'... Alright, Ember, this... Cook this snake. Cook this snake. Cook this snake. Cook him. Oh. That's good enough. You... 我老欸，你下次给我那个水 energy 是怎样？And I try to play the in-real game using the cards I had in my collection. Ooh, that's amazing! I never had Pokemon cards then and now. Yeah, I don't have any Pokemon cards. Don't. It's okay. I'm cooking Snake, not Naga. I remember I had some of these cards as a kid, but I never understood how they are played. The Game Boy was not available in my country. Oh no! I mean, I never played Game Boy as well. I only play a little bit when I when my cousin lent me their Game Boy Color, so that I get to play this for a little bit. I never had any handheld console before, so Switch is my first handheld console. Skeletoo. Bye bye, Snake. Oh. Give me Chameleon. Chameleon. There we go. But there's a local electro console club and they have the Nintendo machine from 1985. The one with the orange Zephyr pistol? Nintendo Entertainment System, I think? I have no idea. That could be it. Big. Am I lazy? I'm a little lazy, yeah. And 5T damage. And I got an energy removal. Nice. Uh-oh. Nope. I threw away my full heal. Oh, thank you. Just gonna do this real quick. Even though I already won, and they're gonna heal. Oh yeah. And they're gonna heal more. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna flamethrower. This is so DM. Oh my god. This is so BM. Holy shit. Yay. I'm a very mean kobold. I can't believe my Scion's Pokemon tech could lose. Chat. I think a no white tier has a Charizard deck. Yeah, I have. I think Charizard is neat. Not my favorite though. I would much prefer Dragonite. But Charizard X is super duper hot though. Nidoking? I must research this further. Dragons are better than science confirmed. Heck yeah. Dragonite is the perfect shape. Exactly, it's so perfect. I remember when I first played Terraria back in the day, and I got the Zephyr and I was like, wait, I know that gun. Ooh, Easter egg. The machine. It's not quite working right. Oh, this is a machine that makes decks. It's much better than Dr. Mason's. Let's see here. Do you want to do against me? That is not what... Sure. Shall we begin the match? It will be a single match of 4 prizes. Whoa. Lovely Nidoran deck. Wow. Gosh diggity dang, wow. Alright. I'm gonna think what the... Yeah. What time's now? Oh, it's 11? Holy shit, that's fast. Plus power, Charizard. Ooh, wait, this could be good. Oops, I was suddenly coughing a lot. Nice. Water energy? Whoa, I'm sorry about that. That was weird. Why did I do the hiccup like that? That must have been a horror show, wow. Holy shit, what happened? What made me make that noise? Only a demon is trying to come out of me. There's a demon trying to escape. Anyways, I think everything is fine, I think. Nice. Uh-oh. Aiyah. Rapidash? Oh. I never really used Call for Family because I never built a deck that's like revolving around Nidoran. Ember 30. Wait, I could just kill here actually. Yeah, I'm doing it. Plus power. Get out of here. Nice. Grim. Grime. Leak Slap. If Tails does nothing, either way, you can't use this attack again as long as Farfetch stays in play. Even putting Farfetch on the bench won't let you use it again. So this is like once per match move? What? Oh, that's unfortunate for you. You can never use the move again. What? That's so weird. Unless you have different move then? Yeah, they cannot attack anymore. The pot smash. Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't like that. Yes, sir. Nidorina is one of the only specifically female-gendered creatures that would totally be very friend. I like Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen. Very cool. I'm gonna hug a Nidoqueen. I'm gonna hug a Nidorina. Would be very fun. Pokeball? Nice. Yeah, here comes the sweep, I guess. So any energy can be fire now? Whee! Get out of here. They don't have energy card, holy shit. So my energy removal is way more devastating than I thought. Because they cannot draw energy card. Oops. Well, unfortunate for you, but I won. So, I'll take it. Nice. My theory is that the machine's malfunctioning caused it. Yeah, sure. Mystery? Ooh. Dragonite! Oh my god, Dragonite! Look at the Dragonite, it's so polite. Oh my god. Let's step in. Once during your turn before you attack, if Dragonite is in your bench, you may switch it with your active Pokemon. Yo. I should become a Dragonite in real life and then hug Tira. Oh, that would be so good. Dragonite. My theory is that the computer fucked up AI bros, exactly. They can never take accountability at all. Like AI bros is just never their fault. It's everyone else's fault but me. It's so stupid. I hate them. Alakadam. Not really anything I want to use here. I got to fix this machine. Yeah, you can try. Should I modify my deck a little bit? I feel like I'm not getting like proper draws here. No, computer search. No, actually, computer search is good. I guess we don't want Ponyta and Rapidash anymore. Then this? I think I'll do this. Yeah. That feels good. Nice. Hey, you! Rick, the club master, is in the middle of an important experiment. He has no time to see someone like you. If you really want to see him, you must defeat me first. Ah, the Sasuke of Naruto. Would you like to do Joseph? Sure. Not too smart, but you got nerves. We'll play for 4 prizes. If you win one match, I'll let you through. Okay. I feel like this is the most normal person, or the most normal looking person in Science Club, but behaves the weirdest. Kind of Bob in here though. Yeah, this game is just all Bob. Holy shit, it's so amazing. Rick and Morty was referencing Pokemon TCG for Game Boy all alone. What's Rick and Morty? But it's cool that they're referencing Pokemon TCG for Game Boy. Lapras. What? Unlucky. What? Excellent question, Tara. Don't worry about it. Hmm? It's just a dumb cartoon. Oh. Hmm. And also I'm lying. Oh. So it's not dumb cartoon? It's good cartoon? Do I computer search immediately? Oh, it's not referencing Pokemon TCG. Oh, hi Chachu. I remember this guy being hard to defeat than the Club Master for some reason. Whoa! You even remember that? That's crazy. Why do you need lightning energy? Oh, Makikata. Mirror move? I mean, I only have Water Gun. Zubat, Supersonic, and Leech Life? Even though it's not confused, remember the number of damage counted from Zubat equal to the damage done to the defending Pokemon. After applying weaknesses and resistance? Oh my god. Oh, after. Okay. Wait, after is bad for me. If Zubat has fewer damage counters than that, remove all of them. Well, yeah. Why did all my fucking... That works. Ow. Ooh, another potion? What does Gyarados need? Oh, maybe I should get a Professor Oak. Professor Oak? What card do I have? I have 1 potion and 1 fire energy card, right? I could keep that. Oh wait, I can check here actually. Gyarados. Oh, it's all water. Oh my god, it's so strict. It's so strict. Oh my god. Well, Let's just do Professor Oak. And then we're gonna chip them down slowly. And hopefully I can make the magic work with Professor Oak. Here we go. Professor Oak. Plus power, water energy, finally. More magic card, more Articuno, one Articuno. Water energy, nice. Zubat needs psychic energy. So just remove one, it's fine. Yeah, that's good enough. And what the gun? Yeah. Oh. Oh, it's grass. 10 damage. They died. Watch this. Boom. Bye bye. I'm Lapras. Oh, unlucky. Unlucky for you, Joseph. Oh my god. Hey, I lost. Since I promised I have to let you through. Thank you. And take this. Hey, man of your word. I respect that. Vitamoth Slowbro Pokédex. Look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck and rearrange them as you like. Oh, this is too advanced for my brain. Look at this art, it's so cute though. This is just pixel art, oh my god. So amazing. I mean, look at this, how the fuck? Holy shit. The art, oh my god. Tentacruel? I love how they throw the bone, oh my god. Make them like... Dodo is so cute. It's like... it's so small. Tiny. Small. The awesome thing is that all of the cards in this are super accurate to the cards of all of the time. Really? Holy shit! Oh my god. This game is getting more and more amazing. Rick's in the middle of the experiment, so don't bother him too much. Okay. I think my dex is fine right now. I'm Rick, the master of the Science Club. Science rules nature. This is why it's so strong. Do you wish to test the strength of science by playing against me? Duel Rick? Sure. Alright, 6 prizes, let us begin. You have an extremely big head. Can I just say that? Am I rude for saying that though? That is one huge head. I am so sorry. Alright, okay, I'm sorry. Lapras, ooh, Lapras, let's go. Nice. Your head fat is crazy. Yo, what? Energy absorption? 2 energy comes from a discard part and attach sent to Mewtwo. Okay. And Cyber? So Mewtwo being the first card out is really bad. Boo, boo, boo. Ooh, ooh. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, this is a good draw. Because the existing real life are accurate, but the game also has a bunch of cards that were made for this game and they've never been printed to this day. The cards that have GB on them are made up ones. GB stands simply for Game Boy. Okay. Chameleon? I have some fire energy. I'm actually gonna Computer Surge a Charmander here. Gonna go for the one down. Actually, we're gonna go for the one up, it's fine. Water gun. Yeah. Oh my god, they're using a huge brain card? They truly have big head. Okay, I will stop saying that. Holy shit. Wow, I thought I'm brutal. Bill. Oh my god, double bill? Their head can take it. Why are we so mean against his head? His head can take it. Cybern 40, just straight 40? Wow, Mewtwo is not that strong actually. I'm surprised. I'm just gonna try to evolve Chameleon, it's fine. Yeah, that's good. I'm just gonna attack. Grime. Energy removal? Well. Who had that? Huh? Oh, you want that energy? Not anymore. I love energy removal, it's so mean. Here we go. What the? Nasty ghoul. Aha! Thank goodness I have a full heal. Ow. Paralyzed Lapras. I feel like we can't really complain about big heads considering that a lot of furry designs feature a head almost as big as the upper body. That is true, especially mine. I mean, my suit head is huge because it's supposed to design with neck vision. So yeah, super big. And like Grima's face, he's like, my train sets off. It's not even trainer anymore. He's just straight up train. Holy shit. Oh. How much for retreat? 2? Oh, that's too much. What does Confuse Ray do? Effectively, we're not confused. Ooh, yeah, let's try this. Come on, we got this. Yeah. Oh. Well, you get hit by shiny. Nice. Here comes a 10 damage roll. Ooh, Bill. Water energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that kills. I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, water. Bang. Easy. Okay. Ooh, chameleon. Had to fit coin lens head down. Yeah. There's like an extra mass on the head that leads to the coin heading down. Facing down. I'm gonna cry. We can get 2 chameleon. Why not? Triple coin if heads, the defending Pokemon is not poisoned. If tails, it is not confused. So it's just bad for me anyway. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? It's either I get poisoned or do I get confused. Oh, to the other coughing? Well, you threw it around. I wonder why would you do that? There you go. Bye bye. Does coughing attack require grass energy? Oh, 2 grass energy? Oh my god. I actually forgot what his name is. Fat head man. Yeah, too bad. Those energy removal must have been depressing, huh? What does Porygon even do? Conversion 1, conversion 2 is a weakness. Change to weakness. Change resistance to a type of your choice other than colorless. Oh, that's weird. Tokyo Lucaria, hi. Oh, it's a raid from Dancy. Hi. You're welcome. Hope you're doing good. Told you the Club Master is easy. I mean, I guess it's just my deck happens to counter his deck, I feel like. With all the energy removals and stuff. Get it up? Here I'm just getting all the fire energy. What the? More coughing? Holy, how much coughing do you need? Coughing is literally dragging your deck down. What the heck? You need more grass energy. Brotan, not like this. Ooh. More coughing? You have a Porygon! That Porygon has energy! What do you mean? Oh my god, poor guy. I feel bad for this, like, science master. Oh my god, they cannot do anything. Big Tekken. Big Tekken. Well, GG. Oh. Yay! Porygon Counterattack is very much a flawed card. I guess. To me, it's like Porygon is good for mid-stall, if it's even useful. Like, if you have 2 energy and then you can just change to resistance to that Pokemon. How much is resistance? Does resistance reduce 20 damage, I think? I have no idea, actually. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you're right, it's a flawed card. And there are at times problems even science cannot answer. Here, take this medal. It is the result of our research. Ooh, medal. We're halfway there. Let me give you this. Please add this to your collection. Oh, thank you. Imposter. Oh my god, Seuss Professor Oak. Ooh, Seadra. Oh, Seadra is so cool. Agility? Hey, it's a broken move. 20 damage plus 10 more. Cannot more than 20. Okay, so... Ninetales? More Seadra? Ooh, I like Seadra. Zring. Legendary cards are but a legend. Science is the only truth. I must continue my research of science Pokemon. Okay, good luck. I'm out. Alright, where do we go? Fire? And Sus Oak is very useful if you go to attack your opponent. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, right? I used to play Magic the Gathering Arena, so on my PC. But then there was a point where everyone just plays the mulligan. Sorry, not mulligan. The deck, the blue deck where everyone just takes out your card. Like whatever they do, they take out like your, like they put your deck to the discard pile, and then they keep doing that. That shit pissed me off, and then I just quit the game because it's shit. It's so shit to play against. It's so not fun. Well, I mean, of course they just want to win, so I guess, right? I'm burning with Pokemon Fever today. One day I'm going to inherit the legendary cards. Good luck. When you build a lot of decks, you start to run out of energy cards. Please give me your energy cards. Give me all the energy cards that aren't in your deck. Give me all of them. No. You're so mean. It's okay, I'll someone else. Bye, Mimi. I need my energy deck. I need my energy card. You stupid. Do you know the empty house on the Cape of the Northwest? That's Ishihara's house. Is it nice to have friends? Huh? Those are two very different... Training's so boring and out of date. What do I have to do it? Why me? I'm Jessica of the Fighting Club. Oh, you must be Pui. I heard about you from Mitch. Defeating you should be more fun than training. Do it, Jessica? Yeah. Okay, single game with 4 prizes. Let's go. I guess I'm stressed out today, huh? Love to battle deck? Okay. This retro OST has been living in my head rent-free for so many years. I mean, it is a really good music, so... Tira's so bullied today? I know! I don't know why I feel so sassy today. Oh my god. I got Charmander, Chameleon, and Charizard. Wow. This is a very spicy way to play. I only have one Pokemon. It is recommended to make temporary decks only consisting of energy cards before dealing with that guy, since it doesn't touch energy cards that already use the decks. Are they gonna reappear? I'm gonna assume they do. Bill, 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 Bill. Nice, nice. Oh my god, 2 potions? Crazy. Pokemon music is so catchy overall. Definitely. Like, even though the modern Pokemon titles are like bad games, but their music never misses, I would say. Their music, ooh, very, very nice. Amazing music. The game though, couldn't say the same, unfortunate. Scratch that. I did not. No, I just been told a mini. Mankey? Once during your turn before your attack, you may look at one of the following: the top card of either player's deck, a random card from your opponent's hand, or one of either player's prizes. Huh. Oh, you pick your own prize, okay. Interesting. Don't bite me out. Yeah. What if they plus power? Yeah. I don't trust them. I'm gonna scratch too. I'm gonna think of the long run here. Owie. There we go. Okay, we are at a good spot here, but still gonna be careful. Because we're getting kind of an okay draw now. Oh, and that's fine. Oh, Bill! 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 Ooh, okay, okay, we won, basically. There's no need to flamethrower. This guy is nasty anyway, since the card you get from him is unique to him but useless in play. So it's a bad but technically required trade if you go for 100%. Also, no, he doesn't respawn. Oh, well, it's okay. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. I'm not going for 100% here, I just want to like enjoy playing card game for a bit. Slash. Hiya. More water energy? I'll give Lapras 3 energy. 3 water energy, then yeah, we good. Did I win? No, okay. Wham! More water energy, holy shit. We won! I wanna do this in a very nice way. Oh, sorry, a very cool way. Yes, sir! Kill! 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 Dragon! All 4 prizes are energy. Wow. Nice, get destroyed. How could I lose? I don't know. Revive? Put one basic Pokemon card from your discard pile onto your bench. Put damage counters on that Pokemon enough to equal to half its HP, rounded down to the nearest 10. You can't play Revive if your bench is full. That's not that good, I feel like. Seeking. Eh. Another Revive. More Potion? Potion is really good, I feel like. How boring. I'm going home. Bye. Do you know the empty... Oh, oh yeah, Meow. More booster pack. It's me, Dr. Mason. How are you doing, Pui? I have some information for you about Rick's deck. He's the master of the Science Club. His deck uses Mux Toxic Gas to prevent your Pokemon from using Pokemon Power. Avoid using a deck that relies on Pokemon Power to attack. His deck's weakness is Psychic Pokemon. Collect Psychic Pokemon to do his deck. Study the deck from the Psychic Metal Deck Machine. Hopefully it will be some assistance. Thanks for the... Meet the Mine? Invisible Wall? Whenever an attack including your own does 30 or more damage to Mr. Mine, after applying weakness and resistance, prevent that damage. Whoa. This power cannot be used if Mr. Mine is asleep, confused or paralyzed, okay? 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon. Oh. I don't know why I named them Pui, but I guess I was upset, so I named them Pui. Win all 8 Master Medals, Pui. I got PC. Let's go find a few more. Fire Club. This is a club for boys with a burning passion for fire Pokemon. Fire Pokemon have the greatest attack power of all Pokemon. Sure. Wow, very straightforward. Okay. Actually, I want to check if there's any like deck that I want to change here. I have 10 Vulpix, how the heck? Maybe I could play Horsea Seadra. But I do like Magikarp and Gyarados. But it's gonna be so hard because the energy requirements are so strict. So is Lapras. I feel like I actually need more water energy than fire energy. Because fire energy is like Charmander, Chameleon can use whatever energy. Charmander can use whatever energy. Magmar has to be fire, but only one. Or two, alright? Maybe I can redistribute this to this? Oh, I don't have enough water energy, oops. I need more water energy. Just be like that kid and run around asking everyone for energy. Do you have energy? No? Mimi. Get out of here. Don't talk to me again. Disappears. Oh, I wanted to be a 食蚁兽. I don't know what 食蚁兽 is. Whoa, milk. I'm still here. Milk? Exactly, milk. Milk's good. That's a cute emo. Milk good. I love milk. Energy drinks? I never had energy drinks because of my body conditions. For 2 basic energy cards from discard pile. To be honest, a lot of them don't taste that great, but Monster Ultras are awesome. 0 sugar, 10 calories, and a lot of them actually taste decent to good. Ooh, I'll keep that in mind. Monster Ultra. I mean, I always have like a little bit of curiosity towards Monster drinks, you know, because Monster. I think this is actually pretty nice. I feel like energy surge. Energy Surge is pretty much just energy card. But I shuffle my deck after. Let's keep it this way for now. What time? Oh, it's 12 already, holy shit. Well, let's fight one more. John, this is the Fire Club, where guys with a burning passion for Pokemon trading cards get together for heated duels. Join the fiery fun. Would you like to duel John? Sure. For prizes, let's heat it up. Oh, I didn't expect that's how you look. I thought you were like a man, but you're... Why am I like this? Why am I like this today? Anger deck. Wow, edgy. I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm a kobold, I'm angry. I yip for attention. If I don't get attention, I'll yip more until I get attention. Wow. This is literally the worst draw ever. What I do? Oh no! It happened! The unfortunate happened! Please be a fire. Oh my god, thank god. Okay, now we good, now we good. Yep. Oh my god, dragon yep. Dragon yep. Alright, smoke screen. Ooh, okay. Pokeball. If I can, I'll just bring in Lapras. Come on. Nice. come here, Lapurasu. I'm scared, so... What's your resistance? Oh, what's your weakness? Grass? Oh. I don't want Cubone to do Rage. Rage is so strong. 40 damage on 1 health. Oh my god, lucky! Holy shit! I've been playing No Man's Sky again, and a long time ago they added the ability to gather stuff from animals. Oh! So, there's milk now? Chameleon. Bill? So I've been running around alien planets milking? Why am I not getting milk? Okay, wait. Teasing out honey? Wow. Gathering berries with a quotation mark and all sorts of weird stuff? Now why don't I never get milk? Feeling a little spicy today. Ooh. We don't need computer search actually, we kinda need the card here. Mini dragon pet, oh my god. Smog. Oh my god, I'm like so lucky. They died. Dora died. I'm sorry, brain. Oh, potion? Oh. Unfortunate, John. Unfortunate, you're gonna put more basic Pokemon. Yeah, that was really hot. You're the greatest. Holy wow, you're so nice. Thank you. Here, let me give you this. Let's heat it up again. Evolution. Oh, these are fine. Combo very yippy today? Yeah. I guess I'm feeling pretty yippy today. Gengar. Oh wait, this Marowak is different. Oh, there it is, the GB version. Bone attack in the whale. 10. If heads, the defending Pokemon can attack during your opponent's next turn. Oh. Well, each player fills his or her bench with basic Pokemon chosen at random from his or her deck. If a player has fewer basic Pokemon than that in his or her deck, he or she chooses all of them. Each player shuffles his or her deck afterwards. This game is so respectful. Let's heat it up again! Bone attack. Alright, let's fight one more. It's 12 AM. I'm feeling eepy. Hey, does everyone have the fever? Do you have the fever? I don't have a fever. If you have the Pokemon fever, deal with me. The Adam? Sure.
Good girl. Pet pat.
Oh. Oh, Becky. Adam seems weird. Adam seems a little weird. Oh, Becky's doing good. Welcome, Dragon. Adam has very cool hair though. Flamethrower deck. Uh-oh. They probably have like 40 fire energy cards in there. Oh. Okay, I guess we can try this. A little scary, but could be possible. I need 3 water energy, so I just need 1 more. Nice. Number of damage counters on Magikarp. Leo. Oh wait, I misunderstood. I thought it's 10 plus how much oh oops. I wasted a turn. Oh, Lapras. No, I want to try playing Gyarados this turn. Times the number of damage counters on Magikarp. So now I have 1, it should be 1, right? It's the same as Tackle. Gayatan, hi! Welcome, Brick. I will drink. Thank you. Also, hope you're doing good. I'm going to... Retreat costs 1. Oh no. That was a bad play by me. I need to survive. Teku! Yeah. Oh, it's weakness! Oh shit. Oh, my controller is low battery. Nice, we did it. Boom! I already won, they are fire type. Dragon Rage! That's cool as fuck, holy shit. Boom! Oh, I got fish. Do I dare try another Gyarados? If I'm lucky, I guess. Dragon Rage! Boom! Kill! Hooray, I don't have the flu? Oh, thank goodness you don't have the flu. Gyarados is pretty cool. Yeah, I love Gyarados a lot. I have a sinus bacterial infection. Oh, so it's sinus is like nose problem, sort of, huh? Lucky. I drew Bill. Bill. I dare, why not? Dragon Rage! Did I win? I won. Well, GG. We win! Bill. Whoa, I lost! Here, take this booster pack, is yours! Thanks! More Matikata. Oh, hi Roxas. Surprised that I'm here at this time. Gyarados. Whoa. Let's do again. See ya. Is there a way to get more energy cards? I mean, the booster pack doesn't really give a lot of energy cards. Huh. Okay, Roxy Hargus for Coxie. Coxie. Alright, let's do one more duel. That one was pretty short. Come on, people, save fire Pokemon! You! Come on, save fire! Fire Pokemon! Okay, that's with the... Wow. Jonathan? Disappointed. A full price match, here we go, fire Pokemon! You don't look like the person who would just shout fire Pokemon with everyone here. I'm sorry, but you just don't. You look too cool. These fire fanboys are so fiery. Yeah, they are. Oh, no basic Pokemon? Oops. There we go. Another Magikarp play? Ooh, yeah, we can try this. Meow, Hotman. Hotman? Me first. No! Okay, chances are high that I lose here. Oh my god, GG. They got the god draw. Oh no. And I got fire energy. I mean, this is the only thing I can do. Help, help, help. I'm just a fish. Help. Help. Oh wait, I win. Oh, I won against this interaction. But I will not survive. Vulpix deal 10 damage, I think? Yeah, Vulpix deal 10. This is bad. I need one more water energy. I have... How much health do you have? 100 health, so... I can handle a few kicks. Yeah, I can handle a few kicks. Here's hoping. If I game end this Ponyta, next Vulpix is gonna game end me with Confused Ray and I lost. Because I don't have any bench Pokemon. So I have to bet here that I get a water energy card. God damn it. Oh no! Oh no! Hi, Brett Talk. Oh my god. Oh my god, Tekken. Tekken. Take a licking. And what? I missed it. You can take the licks. Take a licking and keep on kicking. I have to leave now when I search on stream. Thank you, Chashu. Have a great day ahead. Thanks for stopping by. 2 licks though and your edging session ends. Ooh. How did you know that happened? Wait a minute. Oh, they want it bad. I can only hope they don't have another fire energy card, but chances are low. It's no secret. God damn it, I lost. I don't even have one water energy. God. I lost. Also, how Black Top is doing good. Oh, that's a big leak. Oh my god. The color and arm warmers gives it away. That was a great duel. Let's do again. Fire Pokemon. Alright, you little shit. I'm winning this time. This guy is letting me with rats. Great rule, rats! Yeah! Okay, now I don't think Jonathan's weird anymore. Great rule, rats! Yeah!
Pat pat. Good girl, go EP.
I'll EP soon after this one. Not again. What's with the Magikarp draw now? Okay. Bill, okay. Energy removal. It's two. It's two again. Nice. Oh, they have Bill too. To Licky Tongue? Interesting. Where's my water energy? I mean, even if I have water energy, I don't have Gyarados here. Tongue Black and Supersonic. I guess Confused is scarier than Paralyzed. I've never seen anyone getting confused here. Get him, fish, get him. Two Vulpix? Okay. Are they gonna confuse Raimi? How many fire energy? I can only do this to survive. Energy removal. Hiya. Please be a water card. Water energy? God damn it. Oh my god. Oh, Vulpix again. I have to give it to Lapras for now. Because I thought Gyarados, so giving it to Magikarp is not that good here. Tickle. Oh, yeah. Going to Lurk on mobile. Okay. Have a good leg, Bright Talk. Thank you. Oh. This is so painful. Whoa! I cannot see myself anymore. Oh, I'm back. Tickle. Yep. Hey. Yep. Oh. Whoa. Corp and spin? Whoa. I'm feeling a hiccup coming up. Uh-oh. I guess there's water energy soon. Oh, that looks a normal skin. Oh, I shuffled the deck though. I'm gonna survive here for now, so I'm not gonna like evolve. I'm not gonna attack. Because the other Pokemon has energy cards. The spin and scan is kinda hard to time. The spin doesn't last for a long time. Dragon Rage. Bill? Oh no! Oh wait, I have an idea. Oh, I didn't do it. I wanted to do like eyes looking outwards. Missing no combo. I couldn't attack. Oh, okay. My controller's dying. Yeah, I'm doing it. Get him a Dragon Rage. Yeah. Ooh, no wonder they keep wanting to build up that Vulpix. Yeah, I didn't do it though. Mix up. If your opponent has any basic Pokemon or evolution cards in his or her hand, your opponent shuffles them into his or her deck. Then your opponent puts an equal number of basic Pokemon or evolution cards chosen at random from his or her deck into his or her hand. Your opponent shuffles his or her deck afterwards. What? I'm only reading his or her. my brain is like only registering his or her. Retreat costs 3, holy shit. Dragon Rage! Bam. What? You put in Lickitung? Your Ninetale literally oh wait, Ninetale is afraid of fire. I see why. Crap. I think I have one extra water energy. Dread. Well, I cannot do anything anyway. The paralyzed effect is kinda cute thing. Oi. Don't stall, what do you mean? Are you gonna 10 damage until I can... No, not gonna happen. Okay, thank you. Two dragon. Wow, two dragon. Dragon rage. Oh my god. Where's my full heal? I have 2 in my deck. Alright, that works. Gemba. Come on, Professor Oak. Another Oh! I am doing this for funsies. Bill! 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 More Bill! No space? Uh oh. Alright, let me BM. I'm BMing so hard right now. Dragon Rage! And the potion? Nice. Easy. That was a great duel. I want you to have this, right? Oh wait, no. More Gyarados? Let's duel again. Come on, people, save Rat. 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 Alright, I think I'm feeling a little bit EP here. It is already like 12:30 AM, so Kova's a great dumpy. I think I do have a great dumpy. Chicks deliver your tail, take on a great dumpy. Oh. Oh wait, I'm Chicks. I'm great dumpy. Alright, I'll call it. I'll call it. Not a day, I guess. Yeah, I'm still gonna stream on Thursday, which is already today. In about 11 hours from now, I'm gonna stream again, so I'm gonna close this. I need to charge up my controller as well. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Oh, no signal. There. It's okay, we don't need signal, it's fine. I need to open up music. It's too quiet, I don't like it. Yep. This one. You are Chicks? I am. Kobo retreats into Crystal Cave. I need my cave and my shiny. Shiny very important. I need them. I need to look for right target. It's kind of hard to find right target when I only have one screen. Is the bird? Bird streaming? Easy raid. I see they're doing Deep Rock Galactic though. Let's rate bird easy. Easy choice, easy choice. Why is Zen streaming now? What the heck? Yeah, that's cool too. Bird. Bird is making me want to play Deep Rock Galactic as well. TY for Stream Creature. Play Deep Rock Galactic. Oh wait, I just realized you have been streaming for longer than I have. Oh my god. Thanks for being here still, even though you're streaming yourself. Here, go back to your stream. I kind of want to... Oh, there's so many games I want to play, but there's so many games I need to play as well. Like... I haven't started Halo yet. There's the Halo ODST that I haven't started yet. But then I kind of want to play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate tomorrow for a little bit. I want to play Monster Hunter Generation Ultimate tomorrow. Or today actually, it's already a new day. So yeah, let me plug my things real quick before I end my stream. Do I plug? That will mean 2 plug in a day though. Do I do that? Yeah, I'm doing it. It's kind of shameless. I have coffee. And coffee nice. And coffee good. And coffee helps. And I'll let Bernie talk more about the coffee. And tell them, Bernie.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
Thank you, Bernie.
10:32 a.m. Moderator verified Streamlabs.
Moderator
You can
verified
support me
Streamlabs.
directly with Ko-fi right here URL.
URL. Oh yeah, they don't speak the URL one by one anymore. They just say URL. URL. And this one. I also have a Discord channel. I announce my stream stuff over there, including this one. This is kind of a... I would say this one is kind of a secret stream, so...
10:33 a.m. Moderator verified Streamlabs. Interested to join the Forest Guardians Homie Home?
I forgot
Now
that's
you
what
can
they're
do that
called,
by
Forest
clicking the
Guardians
link
Homie
right here.
Home.
Dragon JAMURL.
Dragon JAM URL. Yeah, it's called Forest Guardians Homie Home. I'm keeping that name. Yeah, I'm keeping that name. I'm not gonna change it. JAMURL. And I have a raid message. We're gonna raid to a bird. I think bird is strong enough to give Cobalt uppies. Nee.
10:33 a.m. Moderator verified Streamlabs.
Oh, it's 10:33 a.m. now.
Tile rack wag wag. Anyone willing to offer the kobold some loving uppies? Tile rack bappies. Tile rack wag wag.
Tile rack wag wag. Tile rack. 6 letters. My name becomes Tile rack. Because there's a K at the end. Tile rack. Tile rack. Mine becomes Brino. Brino. How does TTS pronounce Brino?
Breenel.
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 Hey, Breenel sounds cooler. Breenel. And Tira's Rack. Tira's Dragon Rack. Ooh. I have many dragon plushie. I guess they are my dragon rack. Dragon plushie. Never enough. I need more. More dragon plushie. Okay, let me type in the rate to Gaia then. I should learn how to pronounce his name. Need more dragon plushies, right? Gosh, plushies are kind of expensive though, but if I can get more, I definitely will. Rack is colloquial for great honkers. My brain stopped at colloquial. I don't know what that is. Colloquial. Yeah, let's rate Bert. Let's rate Bert. I want to get EP. So just a bit. Okay. Tigo BTs? I can never have enough dragon plushies. Yeah. Tear for shooting creature. Thanks for still hanging around, even though you're streaming yourself. Here, I'll send a raid to you that you don't know. You don't know there's a raid coming your way though, so it's fine. Yeah? Alright, before the raid, Kobo wants to say thank you all so much for joining with me today. I really appreciate all of you. Love you so much. And also know that you guys are heckin' loved, valid, and matter. Very valuable. Kobo loves y'all. And here comes the raid to Bert. I'll just call them Bert, why not? Bert. Yeah. Night Dream. Invalid username? 嗨呀 invalid 条毛真的是 Oh, did I just press shout out? No, wait, I know how to do this. Okay, there we go. Boom. There we go. That was weird. I'm suddenly very hungry though. What do you guys think about midnight snack? I kinda like midnight snack. Maybe I should get some midnight snack. But I'm afraid I might eat too much though. I don't know. No, maybe no. My brain hurts. I'll just get some midnight snack, why not? I'll try not to eat too much then. It should be fine. I haven't seen my 3D self in a long time. This feels nice. I mean, I can only do this when I'm using Switch because there's no extra things running on my PC. So yeah, see you guys later. Take care everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye.